Stampers, I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and I have a project to share with you. This month in March, I'm featuring the Mountain Air stamp set, which is this fabulous one with the mountains and the trees. It's a great stamp set for anyone, but especially nice for masculine cards, which everyone asks me for. So this first one is a great example of using that stamp set. This is a monochromatic card, just in grayscale, so really grays and whites, and a great way to feature the stamp set and some of the tricks with it, because one of the things that's great about this set is that it has reversible stamps, which is something that Stampin' Up has come out with in recent months. And I know you're going to want to stay tuned because I will give you some tips for how to use the reversible stamps and how to make them effective. So let's get stamping and I'll show you how to make this card. Alright, so for this card we only need the basic gray pad. Seaside Spray and Garden Green are ones that I will be using for the other projects in this 4-project series. But for this one we just need the one color. So, alright, so I have my cardstock cut so that I have a layer and then a smoky slate layer that is just 1/8 of an inch bigger, and then my regular card. And before I glue anything down, I'm going to do my stamping. So let's go ahead and talk about the stamp. So each of these stamps is actually 2 stamps in one. So there's the front that has a detail on it, and then the back that's just the plain side. And so what we want to do for this card is we are going to use the plain side to do our background. So let's go ahead and flip this over. I'm going to ink it in basic gray. Now remember, when you're using the reversible side of the stamp, there's less footage, less square area holding onto the block, so you might just have to be a little more gentle than usual. And then I'm actually going to stamp off. Now I'm putting this, because I have photopolymer, there's no foam layer in my stamp. So instead I'm going to put the foam layer here under my mat so I don't stamp all over my background. And then I'm going to stamp once here to get the darkest of the dark gray off, and then I'm going to stamp again to give us a little bit lighter gray background. Okay, see how we have kind of a medium gray? And then I'm going to go ahead and ink this baby again, and I'm going to stamp it full strength this time. And you can see very clearly, like if there are, here I'll do see there's a line right there, let me make a line. See, there's lines right here in my image. You can see those right on the back of the photopolymer when you just examine it. So take a look at it, make sure it isn't all lined up. Couldn't make a line when I wanted it, but now that I don't, oh my goodness, now I'm throwing my stamps. Anyway, what I'm gonna do now is take this and I'm gonna stamp it just a little bit below the other image, so that now we have sort of mountains in the background that are light gray, mountains a little bit in front of them that are darker gray. And then I'm going to take this and go ahead and clean it off just briefly, because what I want to do is flip this over now and use the detailed side of the stamp. And I love these, the chamois here. It really just sucks the ink right off both the block, since I made a mess, and the stamp itself. So, all right, then I'm going to take this and I'm going to flip it over and adhere it the normal way, and go ahead and set that down. And then this I'm going to ink up and kind of march that across when you have a really big stamp and a smaller ink pad. And I'm going to stamp this here on a piece of Whisper White there that is going to give us our part that we're going to die cut. So now I'm going to take this and the dies. So these are the Majestic dies that match the Mountain Air stamp set, and through the magic of television I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Ta-da! Alright, so now we have our die cut mountains ready to go on our card. And then before I do this, I'm going to go ahead and add some clouds, and I'm going to ink this up. My mat here is still underneath my scrap paper so that I have some good, and you might have noticed I got this little smudge here. I'm just going to go ahead and put some clouds on it because why not, right? All right, and I like it when a little bit of my cloud kind of goes off the edge of the paper so it looks like it's cut from a bigger swatch. And then I have this strip of the Argyle from the Country Club. The backside of all this paper has golf things on it. Golf isn't super huge in my family, so I don't know that I'll use that side, but this Argyle side is really great for masculine cards. And on my sample, I used a little bit wider. This piece is only about 1 inch. The sample piece here that I use is about 1.5 inches. But I'm fine with it being a little bit less also. And the nice thing you can do there is you can sort of resize it to fit whatever scraps you have on hand. So I'm going to put this piece down here toward the bottom, and it's cut 5 inches wide to match our card layer. And then our mountains are going to go right on top of it. And those I'm going to attach with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So our mountains are going to cover up sort of that space between the two there. Okay, and now I can go ahead and layer this here on my smoky slate layer. And then before I add it to the card base, I'm going to go ahead and add my braided linen trim, which is a really pretty way. It's a lot like linen thread, but it's just a little bit more, because it's braided, it's got a little bit more bulk to it. So you can kind of see how that works. And to do this overlay here, what I'm going to do is go ahead and just wrap it around once. And I find that I can never get things tight when I tie them exactly the way I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim it. And then I'm going to put down some snail adhesive here just to sort of tack our strings in place. You could do this with tear tape and it would really hold them down. But I'm not going to worry too much about the sort of full-on attachment point there, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover those up with our greeting. So I'm going to use some pieces of the Stampin' Dimensional edging. You saw me cut that. Never throw your edges away. They are great for all kinds of purposes. And I'm going to put these on here, and then our greeting is going to go on top of that. And the greeting that I'm going to use for this one is from Silhouette Scenes, which has greetings that I just think are beautiful to go with this stamp set. Sort of lots of inspirational kinds of messages. And so this one says, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams." And I'm going to stamp this on here. And then I think I got a little extra paper, so I'm just going to take my scissors and trim this down there. Okay, and then this is going to layer right here on top of our dimensionals and cover up sort of that transition there in our fold over in our braided linen trim. And then I'm going to take this and layer this onto a folded basic gray card base. So go ahead and pop this on here. Okay, and always smush from the back side. You don't want to smear anything. Get ink from your hands on stuff. And then this is a really great card, but I think it needs one more element, and so I'm going to add a piece from the Leaves Trinkets. And so this piece, I think the easiest way to attach this is with glue dots. And so you don't even have to pick them off the roll, but usually what I do is kind of press my trinket down right onto the glue dot and just peel it up or pull it sideways, and it just picks the glue dot up right there with that. Okay, and you can layer this on the top or the bottom. I think I'm going to kind of put this one a little bit over. So there is a nice way to accent that card, and just a great way to use the layers in that Mountain Air stamp set. They're a little bit daunting at first, or at least they were for me when I first took them out and tried to figure out how I was going to layer them. But playing with these guys, I just really love the choices that you get for flipping them back and forth and getting a many layered kind of card. So I encourage you to give this Mountain Air stamp set a try. These tutorials, this one plus 3 more for Mountain Air, are part of my LovenStamps monthly card tutorials, which you get for free for placing an online order through my store and during the month of March of 2020. And actually, if you order at least $50, you get not only a Celebration stamp set, because Celebration is going on. Make sure you check my website if you don't know about Celebration and free stamps. But you get not only a Celebration stamp set, but $50 also qualifies you for a card kit to go from me, which will include materials to make 2 of the 4 cards. I'll cut and embellishments and everything prepackaged, and those are delivered directly to your doorstep. So you can order anything you like for the $50 from my Stampin' Up store to qualify for that. If you want to make cards from this month's tutorials, then you can check my website for LovenStamps card kits to go and learn more about the products that I've used for the 4 cards, so that you have an idea of what you might need to recreate those at home. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to sharing more cards with you soon. Happy stamping!